Maureen?
Thank you, Chuck. A couple things I have to start out with before I start my closing remarks, and that is my title bureau is not dependent on sales, on the general, it's not part of the general fund. My certificate of title fund is a separate fund that we manage ourselves. I pay the salaries out of there. I won't call it my own business because it's public service, but it is separate from the general fund. My title bureau collected last year $45,769,000 in state sales tax and fees. It's a huge operation. And now my closing remarks. I appreciate your kind attention this evening. The responsibilities of my office are deep and significant, but the scope is narrow. Our questionnaire touched on several topics for positions that don't apply to the work I do, and I apologize if you thought I was being evasive. It was not my intention, but I can't in good conscience say what I think you want to hear to get your vote. Reasonable people can disagree. All my advisors told me not to come this evening, and yet I'm here because I'm brave and because I don't want to miss an opportunity to talk about the job that we are doing in the Clerk of Court's office, despite severe budget constraints. I am not a lifetime office holder. I ran for office for the first time at the age of 57. If I stayed home, you don't have a choice to see the contrast between my opponent and me. With all due respect, this is not an office on which you cut your teeth. The stakes are too high. I may not answer your questions about fiscal responsibility, but I promise you that I am a good steward of taxpayer dollars. I may not have any converts in tonight's audience, but if I haven't earned your vote, it is my hope that I have earned your respect. Good evening and safe home.
Thank you very much, Maureen and Emily, and I do appreciate both of them coming out tonight and coming up here in front of us and answering the questions that were posed to them. So let's give them a big hand. Both the candidates will be available after the end of the meeting if you have any follow-up questions that you'd like to ask them individually. So again, thank you to Maureen and Emily for joining us tonight. Okay, we'll move now into the second half of our candidates forum, and we will have with us tonight Lori Dinalo. So Lori, would you please come on up? Her opponent, Dan Troy, has declined the opportunity to be here with us tonight. He has a position that he doesn't respond to questionnaires, and the questionnaire is part of our requirements for participation. So with that, let us welcome Lori Dinalo.
Hello everybody, thank you for having me here tonight. I wanted to thank both Maureen and Emily for coming up and sharing their positions. Oftentimes we don't hear from the, I guess I want to call them smaller or less profile offices. And it's good that you are here and that you are involved in learning something about what's going on and learning about your candidates. So thank you for having me, thank you for being here, and thank you for taking the time to listen. I guess the question that everybody's going to want me to answer is, why am I running? That's the biggest question, and you want to know what it is that got me here, why I'm doing this. And I guess I just want to say that I feel like running for a public office is an act of service. We have many leaders that have done this as a career rather than an act of service. And I think that kind of came along with the idea that we started having an actual study on what it is to be a political science major. When I was a kid, I took a class in high school, believe it or not, and we don't teach this anymore. It was called Propaganda and Dissent. And I learned so much from that one class about marketing. And what I'm ashamed to say is that our political offices many times are about marketing a candidate. It's not really about the issues. It's about who did the best job marketing themselves. We need to get away from that. That's one of the reasons that I'm running. I also want to say that I have lived in Lake County most all of my life. I have worked in both the public sector and the private sector. I have experience in negotiating solutions to complex issues and problems. I have had the privilege of creating 2 very innovative programs in education that I would love to spend some time telling you about, but probably can't get that in the next 3 minutes, which is probably down to about 2. We need representatives in the State House who is experiencing the issues we face in our lifetime at this moment today. This is a term-limited seat, and the reason it is term-limited is because the issues change. You cannot be an expert on everything. If you feel that you can really speak into the issues that we are facing today, this is your time to run. If you get to a point when you're a candidate or an elected official, when you realize that these are not the experiences you can speak into, it's time to step away. I can tell you, in my experience in Lake County, that I have had my 4 children attend the lowest performing school in our district. Well, not in our district, but in this new 60th district. I have had a Cadillac, a healthcare policy, and I now have a very financially cumbersome healthcare policy. My husband spent 25 and a half years as a steel worker in a union job, lost that job when that steel industry closed, and now he owns a small family business. Did I mention he lost his pension? That's huge. He had to start over. We had to use our house as collateral for him to start a business. I have 3 college graduates who went to very prestigious schools. I sent them to private colleges so they can get a conservative viewpoint. They got a very liberal spin on religion, and they were at Christian colleges. It's a shame. They are having a hard time finding jobs here in Ohio. I did not work to raise my children. I did not work hard at being a mother and creating a family so that my kids could leave me after college and live somewhere else. You are not spending your tax dollars on education so that the children that you're spending your money on can go somewhere else in another state to get their income taxes collected. We need to keep jobs in Ohio. Finally, I guess I need to say that I'm very excited about the 60th district. A lot of people aren't as excited as me about the way it was districted, but it represents 31.5 miles of shoreline. The lake is a great natural resource, and we need to protect it and take care of it. The average income in the area is $45,000. We are talking about hardcore, middle-class Americans. These people want to work hard, but they want to play hard too. And finally, I think our political climate is looking for change. Change in both economic arrangements and political arrangements. So this is why this is the time that I've decided to run. My platform is that I respect the Constitution and the voter. I believe in low taxes, limited government, local control. I believe that business expansion is a wonderful thing, but if we don't connect our children and we don't educate them to work in those businesses, we will be failing and our growth will fall apart. Thank you for listening to my opening comments.